Brexit, or as I like to call it, oh no, we just made a terrible mistake. In June 2016, Britain voted for better, for worse, for Brexit. And so far, Brexit seems to have worsened the country. Or as this guy puts it,
everybody was blaming everybody else. People blamed the Prime Minister for calling the referendum in the first place. They blamed the leader of the opposition for not fighting it hard enough. The young accused the old. The educated blamed the less well-educated. That complete meltdown was made even worse by the most tragic element of it. Levels of xenophobia and racist abuse in the streets of Britain at a level that I have never seen before in my lifetime.
I don't think Brexit is about change. The day after the vote, many people in the UK and around the world were shocked. How could this happen, and what is wrong with the British people? I don't think it's about that.
I think it's the worst thing this country's done in years. It's awful.
So, I think it's a really, really bad idea.
So what do you think about Brexit?
It's a lot of shit, really. I think it's better off staying in, to be honest. I didn't really see many benefits of us leaving.
Brexit is really, really bad for us.
So, what do you think about Brexit?
I think it's good, really. I think the EU is an entity.
Do you know what the European Union does?
Governs countries, I guess.
I think there's a lot of anger in the country, and that people voted because they were angry with what was happening rather than Brexit itself.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, you've got a huge thing that's now going to affect everyone way more than they thought, and you can't undo it. And not everyone's calling the people who voted to leave, racist or stupid or whatever. They're none of those things. I think they were just angry.
And a bit stupid. And I think, to an extent, Brexit is actually good. Because it teaches us a lesson. A lesson about globalisation.
Things evolve though. And I think people need to kind of accept that. We are living in a globalised world. We are living in a post-Cold War world. Things are going to get bigger. Things aren't going to stay the same. Things are going to evolve.
You see, it's no longer about just being on the right or on the left. It's now all about globalisation. There are people who embrace globalisation, and there are people who fear and resent globalisation. The old versus the young, the forgotten versus the new generation. And for me, it's really hard to put this, but all people are winners. It doesn't mean they're right, it just means they've somehow managed to win. The country is like more divided than ever before. And if you think about it, globalization is entirely about getting rid of boundaries. And globalization is about connecting everyone, with everything, everywhere. Globalization doesn't really see race or accents, which is really good for me because my accent is kinda terrible. I mean, social media is a great example of. For example, during the Arab Spring, viewers from all across the planet were able to see what was going on as it happened. And this is great for younger people and millennials. But for a country based on capitalism, globalization is a threat. I mean, we've all seen how a simple post on Facebook can destroy the reputation of a multi-organisation. We've seen this with United Airlines and Pepsi, and there's a billion examples out there. The biggest threat posed by globalisation, according to the United Kingdom, is immigration.
The EU brings immigrants, right? How do you feel about this? What about immigration?
I think immigration's the greatest thing to happen. I don't understand. The whole world is immigrants.
Yeah,
like most of the English aren't from here. Most of them are Vikings from Norway. People from other parts of the world, French and things like that. I don't see why immigration should stop now.
Suddenly, I think immigration is great, but I don't think they should be called immigrants because it's just it's a term to brand people with. it's the same as branding anyone. Like, if you say, oh, well, the youth or the old, like, everyone is everyone. They are human beings, but everyone kind of painted them with this brush of, like, they were the enemy. When they come over and work and pay their taxes and there's...
I mean, if it wasn't for globalization, I would probably still be somewhere in Italy, like in a field. And what the Brexit vote has managed to show us is exactly who thinks of globalization as a threat. The UK party, for example, which is run by Nigel Farage, believes that the United Kingdom should stay British. And that means blocking everything out. It's all about isolation.
It says a lot about our people and about our nation that we are that introverted. And it, as you can tell, it makes me really, it makes me upset. It makes me upset that we have the predominant amount of people in this country felt that way. It's the economy. The economy is one of the most important things. It's a risk that we didn't need to take. I think it says a lot more about us as a society that will become that introverted. But I mean, when it comes to the economy as well, Kapinder, it's like one of the first lessons, the basic lessons of the economies, of economics. If societies or countries isolate themselves, don't trade, don't comply to common markets, they suffer. It's basic level of economics.
And personally, I don't want to live in a society that wants to isolate itself.
And here with more on the effect of Brexit is our very own Brexit supporter, GURPS. So you are an active Brexit supporter, is that correct?
That is correct, Tayab. And I would like to confirm that I'm not a racist. You see, not liking other races doesn't make you a racist. Basically, that's just what the dictionary wants you to believe.
Why do you support Brexit?
I don't want to share a continent with the French people.
You do realise that we won't actually physically be moving from Europe.
Of course I knew that, but you never know. It's all up to the Queen. If she wants to move...
That's not how anything works.
Listen to me. The people coming from different countries like India, Florida, Jamaica, Canada, and wherever Chinese people come from.
You mean China?
Yeah, that one. They come to this country and they steal our ideas.
What do you mean?
They come here, they bring their own culture, they bring their own food, and they speak their own language. We did that first.
Do you even have a point?
I clearly don't have one, but I got some references made by real journalists who aren't racist. According to Science Daily, the European Union causes autism, HIV, and cancer. Check this out.
I highly doubt that is true.
The sun, have you heard of the sun?
Yes, I've heard of the sun, the massive yellow thing in the sky.
The sun is the biggest news source for Brexit supporters and people like me.
Bad people.
No, people who are not looking for facts. All we want are accusations.
So tell me, GURPS, what do you do?
Just like yourself, I'm a journalist, and my moustache is falling off. Right?
What did the sun say?
The European Union is a bad thing.
Wow, since when is the EU a thing?
That's not it. The European Union is a bad thing, believe us, because we are a bad newspaper that no one cares about. Also, we have loads of typo. Enjoy fake photos with red circles. Alright? Well, The Onion said that the European Union wants to kill God, and hating another racist makes me religious, then I'm a saint.
I think you might be the devil.
Oh really? I'm the devil now. KKK magazine believes that. Believes that we have the solution to immigration.
Wow.
Okay, listen to me. The NHS takes £218 million a week from British taxpayers. They use these money to pay nurses and doctors. I'm not sure about the wording of it. I think it was different when I read it. But that's not the point. The point is, if we can get rid of the NHS, we can get rid of taxes, and therefore we must get rid of the European Union.
That doesn't make any sense. We don't pay that much tax.
I don't know anything about taxes, but that's only because I'm on benefits.
So you're happy about Brexit?
Yes, I'm happy about Brexit because it keeps immigrants out of this country. That's as long as they don't fight for any of these papers. And that is what Britain needs.
And what is that?
Listen, we need immigrants so we can be mean to them. Alright? That's just basic racism. Wasting their time is what we're trying to achieve. I'm guessing we don't get any racism.
Hey there, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like below and subscribe. Yep, that would be it. Thank you for watching. And also here you can check out links to other similar videos. For example, last year I went to an anti-Brexit protest. And also here is a link to my podcast. So if you want to hear more stuff about Brexit and this kind of stuff, just click here or subscribe to the channel.